Due to numerous incidents involving China's biggest artists, the government has altered regulations in an effort to better organize the country's entertainment industry. Are you curious about the most recent issues? Before we dive into our other lists, make sure you click subscribe and like to stay with us and get more content like this. Thanks. Chinese dramas now required to declare how much the cast is paid before they're allowed to air. This new regulation was implemented to prevent stars from getting overpaid. For example, before Zheng Shuang's fall from grace, she was making $417,000 a day on a Chinese ghost story. The new showbiz regulations that have been introduced in China recently have created a lot of controversy, but this one in particular has received a lot of positive feedback from netizens. The Beijing Municipal Radio and Television Bureau has announced that all dramas will now have to declare its production costs and have it verified before they are allowed to be broadcasted. This unprecedented move is believed to have been introduced to avoid actors being overpaid. The new guidelines state that drama production companies are now legally responsible for any violation of laws or regulations. This puts greater pressure on companies to not get involved with yin-yang contracts, also known as double contracts. This method was employed by disgraced celebs such as Fan Bingbing and Zheng Shuang to evade taxes. Typically, one official contract with a lower declared value would be submitted for tax purposes, while one or more other contracts made with the company will pay the actors additional sums of money. Production companies will now be held responsible if they allow yin-yang contracts. Zheng Shuang is reported to have made a total of 4 contracts with the producers of a Chinese ghost story and was paid 160 million yuan for 77 days of work, which works out to about 2 million yuan a day. Yin-yang contracts became popular when production houses started offering high salaries to big stars in hopes that they would attract higher ratings and sponsorships, with the actors not having to pay a large amount of taxes. The guidelines have also stated that the amount allocated for the salaries of the actors must be within a certain percentage of the drama's total production cost. Although this percentage has not been revealed, a 2020 recommendation stated that the total cast salary should be within 40% of a drama's total production cost. The lead actors' combined salaries should also be within 10% of the drama's total production cost. 80 dramas are reported to have been shortlisted by the Bureau, and the production houses have been asked to submit the relevant papers for verification. They will only be allowed to send the series for content review after their finances have been approved. Alright, let's move on to other issues. While an actor's earnings must be clearly reported to the government, their performance must also adhere to the rules. Pretty Boys No More, as new directive boycotts BL drama adaptations following previous ban of effeminate male celebs in China. And so it begins. The pretty boy image may soon be a thing of the past if the National Radio and Television Administration, or the NRTA, previously known as SARFT, has anything to say about it, and they do. In a meeting held on September 16, the NRTA asks for the strict implementation of regulations to manage TV salaries as they firmly control skyrocketing salaries, yin-yang contracts, and tax evasion. They also firmly boycott supremacy of Liu Liang, or traffic stars, chaotic fan circles, dangai, etc. With this, it seems a bleak future is likely in the cards for the highly popular and lucrative dangai genre that has been taking the industry by storm, with so many dramas adapted from BL novels. The statements above echo the guidelines issued by the radio and TV regulatory body earlier in the month, where one of its stipulations touched upon putting an end to Niang Pao, which means sissy or effeminate, and other abnormal aesthetics. For male artists, that means every aspect of their overall look, from hair and makeup to their performance and styling, must now be correct. What does correct aesthetics entail? Whereas smoky eyes and a full face of makeup earrings, and nail polish used to be pretty standard for male idols expressing themselves and wanting to up the visual factor in their performances, the new mandate is in favor of stars appearing more masculine. Transformations. This is also probably the reason why some idols have already undergone a makeover. Huang Zitao recently popped up a shirtless photo of himself showing off his ripped bod whilst working out at the gym. That's quite a contrast to his usual carefully styled and super put together looks in the past. Likewise, singer Chai Shu-kun, who rose to fame after idol producer ditched his clean-shaven look in favor of a scruffier bearded version, responds to what many assume to be both stars conforming to the new regulations in order to avoid landing on the blacklist varies. Netizens, understandably, were super appreciative of Tao's shirtless photos. That aside, others are complaining why there's still a need to determine how a man and a woman should look when we're already living in the 21st century. Similarly, others are asking why effeminate is still considered to be quite derogatory and lamenting how stars can't even have their own personalities now. Bleak future for Chinese dramas based on BL novels. While there aren't specific details about the boycott, it still spells bad news for production companies, as the whole slew of Dangai dramas that have yet to be released or are still under production may now either have to be trashed or attempt a different strategy to make its way to audiences' screens. Meanwhile, it seems audiences will have to say goodbye to any more boys' love narratives, at least in the near future. So what are your opinions about this? Let us know in the comments below. I've been your MC Arya, goodbye.